Welcome to Talk Your Culture. This show is sponsored by Diamond Cuts and Scrimmage Lounge. If you know anything about Scrimmage Lounge, they've been live all summer. Let me tell y'all something. If you've been at the Scrimmage Lounge, stay away from that road, man. Stay away from that road. I know y'all out there having a good time and everything, and it looks good. It's beautiful. It's in the hood. I hope it lasts for a long time, but stay out that road, because I drive a truck, and I'm telling you something. You mess around, catch a slippity while I'm coming through there. Be on the news. That's all I gotta tell you. But just, have a good time. Stay away from that road. Let's jump right into this thing, man. I got my guest here. I'm happy to be back. So this is my official first shoot for season 2, and it feels good to start it off with none other than Marcus Cherry himself. I want y'all to welcome him. I wish I had the applause thingy like DJ Pooh, because I like DJ Pooh's show. His show is cool. It's just him. He ain't got no guests. He don't have no replies back. He have all the sound effects, and I'm jealous. DJ Pooh, you gonna come on here one day and show me how to do it. But let's jump right in this thing with Marcus, man. Most of the people that watch my podcast probably know you, but I have been growing. So there's some people who might be watching who I don't know, who don't know you. So we're just gonna give a background view of who you are and some of your accomplishments, and jump right into some conversation.
Sounds good to me.
So let's take everybody back to Little Chero. Who was that kid?
So, Little Chero, first of all, that name, I got that from a real good friend of mine that I played basketball with.
So you was, how old?
Probably like 12. But
Okay.
Before that, everybody just called me Mark.
All right.
But it became too many of us.
Okay.
Because it was so many.
A bunch of Mars, yeah.
Yeah, so I got that name around middle school basketball, Little Chero. But wasn't born here. A lot of people think I'm from Georgia. Not even from Georgia. I was born on a military base, actually, in North Carolina.
That makes 2 of us.
Yeah. So I tell people I actually wasn't born on land. I think I was born on a ship, which
Oh, wow.
is kind of like different. But then I lived in Pennsylvania for the first 4 years of my life. And then, like you were saying earlier about the R.A. Lee and the Upson High, I was actually the first class that started at Upson Lee. So my mom brought me back to go to kindergarten for the first year of Upson Lee High School, Upson Lee being formed.
Yeah. So what is that like? Because it's very interesting for me to be here as long as I have been, and people move here, and I be always wondering, well, what made you do that? You know what I'm saying? But what is that like? Living in Pennsylvania, because I don't even know what that's like. But I know it's not Georgia, you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure it's different. What's that like as a kid, leaving Pennsylvania, coming to a place like Georgia? Just the South, you know what I'm saying?
It was, from what I recall, it was different. I do remember my uncle and my grandmother driving up there to come pick me up and bring me to this place that had no buildings around. So it was nothing but woods. You heard every animal and cricket and stuff, which I'm not afraid of none of that stuff, but it was just different. I didn't have any friends at the time. I had cousins that I didn't really remember, but I had saw every once in a while, but they didn't live there either. They lived in Atlanta, or Decatur, or Thomaston. So it's like
it's isolated.
It's isolated.
Yeah.
And then I got to start school and learn people, which it was fun, but it was a challenge.
Yeah. Was there? That's cool. Cause I didn't know that. I didn't. A lot of people don't know about me not always being here, and my birth certificate doesn't say Georgia or Thomaston. It says Arizona, because I was born on a military base, and I don't remember being in Arizona, but I do remember living in Atlanta before arriving here, and I've been here ever since. So I know for me it was a culture shock living in a place where it's constantly busy, cars was constantly moving. You can smell the smoke from the vehicles all the time, and you just come to a place where you just smell the rain and the trees. You can smell the dirt when the wind passed by. You know what I'm saying? Or a funky turd that an animal left. That type of stuff. And it was very isolating. And when you like that, you you live in your head by yourself. You start conversating with yourself. I don't know, this cliche saying that they say, you know, you crazy if you, long as you ain't answering yourself. You know what I'm saying? But your subconscious is answering or something. You know what I'm saying? But I do understand that isolated feeling moving from a place like that. You know what I'm saying?
I'm glad you said that because I actually ask myself questions, and it's growing in that background that we came from. You grew up where you talking about what, 5 miles? Small town. I'm in Salem, so you can take one back road and you're there in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So you had to have an imagination. You didn't have someone next door that you really could just go and talk to. And so if you playing basketball, you might be guarding somebody you've seen on TV. You don't know it.
And imagination.
It's your imagination that you're using. But imagination is key because that's where a lot of your goals and aspirations come from. Is what you imagine. You have to think about what you want to do or what you want to be before you go for it, or you're clueless.
Yeah. That's big. That's big. That's game right there. That's free game. For those of y'all who looking, that's free game. Class of 2005. Honor graduate, all-state baseball team. What did you have on your mind as far as your future?
When I was in high school, I originally just growing up in general, there was 2 things I was interested in. I was always good at working with my hands. Building stuff with my uncle, so I wanted to be an architect or a civil engineer. The second thing was I actually wanted to play professional baseball. Basketball and football, I played both of those and was good at it, but that was just something I did to keep myself busy because, you know, we don't want to stay down there in the country.
Right.
So the more I was able to do, I was able to get out of chores as far as chopping wood, or raking leaves, all this. Now, it was still waiting on me when I got back, but I got to relieve myself from it.
Right.
For things of that nature. But that's what I originally wanted to be, but it changed because as I got older, things that I thought I wanted to do no longer interest me. And I've always had that knack of trying to find out what my limits are, what am I willing to learn, what I can't learn, how am I going to get the resources to learn that. Because you're never going to not have a weakness because a weakness becomes a strength and then there's something else that now you got to overcome. So right now, after I got out of college, I changed to finance. Had nothing to do with that, but something about finances to me is always going to exist. It doesn't matter if it's money or if it's just the concept of doing business, because before money, people just exchange services with each other.
Right.
Like what your profession is now. Somebody would say, hey, I got some food if you're able to do this for me.
Yeah.
And then we just came out with some type of form of currency to exchange for that. So as long as you're able to understand that, I was like, I think I would be able to survive in this world. I've worked in as far as like mentorship with not only children but adults, which is something that I didn't think about earlier, but I had powerful mentors that helped me shape who I was. That you know both of them. One was Coach Greg. He gave me the opportunity to actually get more talented in basketball. That was one of the reasons that helped me gain that position, is when he formed the Crawford County Supersonics. He personally would come pick up kids from Thomaston after his long, busy day to take us down to the practice.
Yeah, I definitely wish that type of stuff was going on when I played. Like, one of them things, I don't know Greg personally, but I've seen his results in these young men, and they're either gonna be pretty good athletes or outstanding men. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing I do see that he get out of those kids is he show them how to work hard on the court and be outstanding men in the world. You know what I'm saying? I really feel like if I had the opportunity to have played AAU or been under his wing, I'd have probably went to the NBA, you know what I'm saying? Because I just, he push you to your limit and a little bit further than that. And, I had to do that myself, you know what I'm saying? So when I get super tired or give up or wanky, I stop. I didn't have that person to be like, get back out there, you know what I'm saying?
Keep going.
Yeah, I really do wish that. Man, I also didn't realize that you had to have your academics in order to go to college to play basketball. So just going to college, period, like I probably still could have went, right? But I didn't particularly go I didn't particularly take the path academically. I was trying to do it athletically. You know what I'm saying? But either way it go, there's not a lot of people in this town who goes to college. There's not a lot of people in this town who actually graduates. So, you know, you went to 2 colleges and you graduated. You know what I'm saying? So, what was that experience like for a young black man?
It was a great experience. So how I got to college, like you asked me what I wanted to do. Professional baseball, all state. It was actually 2 of us. One of them was Jared Burkett, real good friend of mine. And Coach Sharp had me the opportunity to go play in 2 colleges. Morehouse, I'll be honest with you, I had heard of it a couple times, but I didn't know what it was because, like you said, from here we're trying to figure out how we're gonna get out of here.
Yeah, my first time was the Bill Cosby show.
That was the Bill Cosby show, but it was from him wearing the sweatshirt and stuff like that. But as far as the understanding of it only came from that and my mom. So she was like, this is a prestigious school. This will get you prepared for life. And she was like, they have a baseball team. In my mind, I'm like, I'm not going to make it professionally if I go play baseball there. So she fills out the application. I never filled out this application to go to Morehouse, never. But she knew because I was an undergraduate, my grades were excellent. I played 3 sports and had a 3.9 GPA.
Wow.
And I graduated with a dual C. I did college prep and a tech prep C. It was like nobody wasn't going to really turn me down. So get the acceptance from Morehouse. But she didn't tell them I played baseball. And so I said, I'm not going there because, one, we're going to have to pay. You know where we're from. That school is very expensive, and the only way that we're going to be able to afford this is by taking out loans and stuff like that. I have an opportunity to go to these other colleges where I could play for free. Yes, it may not be on the academic standard. Well, we don't even know what their academic standards are, but it's something that I love. And due to the fact that I didn't want to hurt my mom, I chose Morehouse over my baseball career.
Wow.
Now, a lot of people would say, why? At first, when things went wrong in my life, I would be like, I wish I would have done those things. But as I think about it now, it was a lesson. I was granted with the opportunity to come back and give kids that speech as far as like some kids that are playing collegiate sports now, as far as make a decision that's best for you that will help your family later and not help them now.
Yeah.
Because temporary satisfaction is not what's going to be the necessity of life.
Yeah.
And I also found out that you can always teach, but you always can't play.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to get 5-10 years professionally, and then what am I going to do?
Right. That's big that you said that, because when it was time for my nephew in his recruiting process, of course the schools do everything they can to try to brainwash me and his mother, right? Because that'll only make us say, yo, this is where you need to go. You know what I'm saying? And trust me, we really wanted to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we really, really, really wanted to tell him where to go. But we didn't want him to look up and regret being there because we said it. We wanted him to go where he wanted to go. And if he regrets it, you know what I'm saying? But granted, as time passed, he picked the right school, but he didn't pick the right coach. You see what I'm saying? And, you know, we look back on it now and be like, man, I wish I probably should have just said, you know, just told him what to do. But, you know, we didn't really want to do that, you know what I'm saying? Because when we was that age, we was able to decide. You know what I'm saying? We was able to decide. So we didn't want to do that. All right. I noticed you mentioned some of your professional background. Lay it on me, man. Tell us about it. I see it here. You want me to read it, or?
I'll start it off, and then I'll leave something out. Because until we had this conversation, I'm the type of person, I just don't keep up with all the good that I've done. Right. Like, sometimes I've been told some things I've done, but I forgot I did that. Because I haven't been looking for the recognition. So as far as my background, my experience has been working in brick masonry. My first job was with one of your cousins, Tony Fagan.
Oh, yeah.
That's when I was about 16 years old, when I started driving, so I needed gas money and some stuff to go to camp.
Yeah.
I did landscaping with my mom's brother. That's how I bought my first basketball goal. Was actually cutting grass in the trailer park down in
Okay.
Salem. Then
I want my sons to watch this.
Oh,
Cause I've been trying to encourage them to get some hustle in them, and just want them to hear you. Go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, so I did that. In high school. I worked at Quad Graphics. So football. A lot of my friends they hated me for this. So football, I wasn't the best, but I was good at the position that I played.
Right.
And when I started playing basketball and baseball, I had to make a decision. I knew the depth chart on the football team. Without me, you would be good, and it still showed.
Yeah.
But it was funny that Coach Sharp said, "Hey, Cherry, you got one of the best arms and talented that I've seen. Do you want to go out there and get your shoulder dislocated out there playing football?"
Football, yeah.
It was like, "You have a scholarship out you." I was like, you know what? After hitting Caden Walker and Nigel and them after my freshman year, I was like, he might make sense because the guys in my class are solid. Like you got Tron McDaniel and stuff like that. I was like, you know what? I'm good. Let me stick to basketball and baseball.
Yeah.
So I can at least try to further my career versus trying to people please and be there for something that I really don't want to do.
Right.
Because as an adult, you're going to learn that people pleasing will put you in bad situations, which I've done as an adult myself in my career. Worked there in Quad Graphics, so I worked there 11th and 12th grade year during football season after I wasn't playing football anymore. No, 10th and 11th grade year.
This during your senior year?
Junior and senior year, because you could get out of class, because I was real smart.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I could get out at 11 o'clock junior year, 1 o'clock junior year, 11 o'clock senior year, and you could go work somewhere. So I picked Quad, because that was a place back then that was paying the most money in the city besides the mill.
Yeah.
But I think the mill that was when the mill was shutting down around that time.
Right.
So it wasn't the same. So I worked there for 2 years, standing on my feet. It was 7 hours, but I was the type of person, I had the hustle mentality as a kid. I would go work on Saturdays so I could work Saturdays and Sundays so I could give me an extra 24 hours and have some extra money in my pocket. So basketball season was good. College, I interned in the engineering department because I was a civil engineer. Did that for a semester in the work study program. I've done some internship work in telecom and telecommunications, as far as some work that had to be done at some universities. My banking career started when I was at Morgan State. So I transferred from Morehouse to Morgan State due to my father just informed me about it. Then I had moved. I moved from Atlanta to Maryland, and he had said, "Hey, check out Morgan State." So I went there. So, not the banking, but the auto industry. He was in the auto industry, very successful, and said, "Hey, you need to get a job." Every man in my family has never been a handout person. They've either been like, you need to go do this or you need to do that. So he said, "You're very good in sales. I've seen you talk to people. You have a very good understanding of how things work, and you break down things. You look at an operation and you break it down in steps, and you go step by step trying to figure things out. So that's how you're going to pay for school up here until we can get you permanent residency, so you'll have a discount at Morgan State, because Morgan State didn't have a baseball team.
Right.
So I couldn't go play baseball and stuff like that. And he would try to tell me to go try to walk on at, they had the Orioles have a team called the Frederick Keys that's down in his league. He said, "Go try out. I mean, quite sure you make it," because I was still in shape. But I was like, "No, I got to make money." Did car business. So did that for 2-3 years. Got too much. So asked my dad, "Hey, Dad, can you give me some recommendation on what I should do as far as trying to finish school and do this?" He was like, "Finish school." So I left the car business, used my money I had saved. Senior year comes along at Morgan State, and my counselor tells me that I have to have financial services background because I'm having a degree in finance now. And I'm like, well, I worked in the car business for 3 years and dealing with banks as far as in negotiations with customers on payments and actually having understanding debt ratios and stuff. Does that suffice? She's like, no. So I'm like, dang, I'm this close to graduating, and I got to go find somewhere to work within a year, or I can't walk the stage. So My roommate at the time knew someone. Shout out to Cam, because Cam actually helped me with this. He knew somebody that worked at the bank.
Right.
And got me an interview. And I told those people, I don't care what position you got in here. If I have to work 10 hours, 8 hours, my goal is to graduate so I can be the first male in my family to receive this honor.
Okay.
So I became a part-time teller. And just the sales technique and conversation skill just got me to be promoted 7 times within 4 years.
Right.
And within those 4 years, I was able to come back home. So I went from working in Baltimore, Maryland in the bank after graduation in Washington, D.C. to Griffin, Georgia. So now I'm 30 minutes from home, got my degree, able to spend time with my grandmother, able to come back and help people with some of the things that I've learned. That's always been a goal of mine. Did the banking thing in Griffin, and then I had a bigger calling as far as becoming a manager within the district, and became very successful at that. At the point, so successful that I was nominated for, well, not nominated, I actually did win, and it wasn't just me. I had a phenomenal team of women and men. Actually, I had brought on one guy from Thomaston, so I think we had the best banking branch out of 84 stores, and that stretched along 3 states. After that achievement, started the Stars on the Rise program with Wayman Johnson. My goal and his goal with that is similar to what you said, or you wish you would have had something like Coach Greg had with us. And then I'm thinking about how Coach Raines lived down the street from me. He always kept my head on his shoulder. If any problems my mom had.
If you within arm's reach of Coach Raines, you gonna have a head on your shoulder. You don't have no head or a shoulder. I'm telling you now.
He kept me, and I respect him, and I'm glad for the things that he did. I tell him that every time I see him. And Caldwell too, I sent Caldwell a video. I don't know if he thought it was funny or not, but I'm like, that stuff I actually appreciate. You was tough on us. They can't do that stuff no more.
No, you can't.
But those things helped us as men. They taught us to be grounded. They taught us that because they knew that everybody doesn't become professionals.
Yeah.
But everybody becomes grown men.
Man, cause I could just think back on all the things after graduation that got hard and felt like quitting. And I think about them hard times, like, boy, if I made through that, this ain't nothing. And it helped push me through it, man. For sure. Yeah, I see you have volunteer work that you've done. Teach children to save Georgia. Is it Teach Children to Save? Okay.
That was a program within Wells Fargo.
Okay.
And what it did was educate children from the ages of 3 all the way up until high school seniors. And there's a resource that they have that people should try this down. I actually use it with some of the consulting I do for people. It's called handsonbanking.org. And it allows you, if you're a kid, to watch videos that teaches them how to do what a credit card is, what a debit card is, what a bank account is. Teaches adults the same thing. And I would go to different churches. I'm back home now. I know that a lot of people don't know these things, so I would volunteer, because we don't get paid additional for that stuff or anything. It's just, can you go out there and do it? So I would go to churches. I would go to the thing that Kalisha has in Thomaston. That's what I was set up for, to do that here, or anywhere I could go in the state of Georgia, to just increase that awareness, specifically in rural areas, because that's where the knowledge as far as how the world outside there really works.
Right.
I think with the Teach the Children, it was another program that they had. It was a financial literacy program that I asked, could I go to the Jackson State Prison to teach inmates that were being released in the next 6 to 9 months how to become what they want to be outside this world, because we all had family that are convicted felons and stuff like that for small petty crimes or whatever it may be, but they think that their life is over. They think that nobody won't hire them. They think they can't get loans. They think they can't do these things. So my goal was to go in there and tell them that, hey, this is not the end for you. You can be a business owner. That has nothing to do with what you have going on. You can still have a bank account. You can still have all these things, and then have set up reoccurring meetings with once a month where I would go down there and provide them with resources, and they would actually ask me. It was like a class. We would have to just teach them those things. And kid you not, I'm shopping one time at the Tanger Outlets, not the one in Locust Grove, but the one that's in Commerce. And a guy calls my name as I'm walking out the Nike store, and it was one of those inmates that remembered me just doing that. And the first thing in my mind was like, man, I'm glad you out. That was the first thing. He was like, yeah, I'm out, and I got my own kind of big flooring company now. I went and did all the steps that you taught me. That made me feel better than any paycheck that I've ever. That's with anything that I've done where I see a positive turnout. It's not about what I gained from it, it's what I was able to teach that person and that they was able to learn from.
Well, that's what our purpose is to serve, and iron sharpens iron. But would you agree the lack of financial literacy is probably the number one reason for inflation and why so many people is having a hard time of panning their way through it?
I would say even if you are educated with financial literacy, you still can have a tough time in this situation right here.
Yeah.
People that are able to just take care of their normal needs, they should pat themselves on the back because it is definitely not an easy time right now. So
you can repeat that again because I know a lot of people who are going through this that would love to hear this because they think they're the only ones.
No, the people we have, like I was talking earlier about the phones that help, like the talent be more exposed in Thomaston with the sports. Social media, it was a good thing. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing. A bad thing is we all get consumed in thinking that no one else is having the problems that we're having, when actuality they are, and they're just not going to tell you. Like and you're not really supposed to tell the world and stuff like that, but you shouldn't look at that as your reality.
Yeah.
Don't tune in and say, okay, they're having a good time, they're not having problems. That might be the way they're healing from whatever they're going through.
Yeah.
That may not just say they're not having.
Or maybe that's what they creating a problem later on. They're having a good time now, but that's gonna create a problem later.
Absolutely. And like with this financial literacy thing, you can learn from this every time. Like I've had people see, like we just listed a lot of things I've been successful in. I got probably 3 pages of things I failed in. And that helped me with those.
Yeah.
So I failed so many times that the advice that I give people isn't something that I've read out of any book that from the classes that I've done, any of the seminars that I've attended, any of the trainings. It's from the experiences that I actually tried it myself.
Yeah.
And that's just an instinct to me. The leadership instinct is to try it first, so I can warn others later if they're even in that path or if they want to take that path. This is a measure that's coming your way, even though you want to go their way.
That was something that I told my children the other day. Failures are just steps to success.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just trying to give them to understand, just don't give up. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything out here is hard. Some stuff might look easy. After you don't went through the hardship of learning it. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because somebody else is doing this and it looks easy to them, you got to look at what they did to get there.
They have a story. Everybody has a story that they tell, and everybody has a story that they don't tell about stuff. And when people ask me how do I achieve those things, I'm not the person that leaves out the story of the people that were involved in it. Because I didn't do any of this stuff by myself.
Right.
The only thing I did by myself was stay disciplined from what I was being encouraged to do. But as far as achieving those things, none of that stuff requires more than one person to do it. So whenever that you think that you have to give up, just remember you have a supporting cast. You may not know who that supporting cast is, but the energy that you're giving out is going to direct them back to you. I think this conversation we had when I first found out about your podcast, I was like, Chris, this will be the first time that I've ever talked to anybody about anything that I've done in my life, because I was always taught from my grandmother, don't show everything that you have going on.
Right.
You're supposed to do well. That's what you were brought into this world to do. It's not something that you should always want to get praise for. That's what we brought you here to do, is to make sure that we're proud of you.
Yeah.
I don't call myself humble because sometimes putting yourself too humble will get you looked over. And as far as opportunities, because people don't think you're capable of doing those things.
Right.
But there is a level of arrogance, and I try not to teeter that line. So I prefer not to say anything at all. So there's a mysteriousness about it. So if I'm doing it, I'd rather you say, well, how do you know how to do it, versus you assuming that I just don't know how to do it. Just ask me.
Yeah.
I might tell you that somebody you know helped me learn how to do it. You've been with them more than I have, and now we've established a mutual relationship on how you can learn a new skill that you probably want to do that you've been jealous or just not aware that I learned from.
Yeah. So to sum up what you just said, in financial literacy to someone 8-9 years old,
Right.
and to sum all of that up into like 5 or 6 words, how would you?
To an 8-9-year-old. If I was talking to my 8 or 9-year-old self, because even if we're in different times,
not you, because you already get the message.
But kid, we didn't know what the heck was going on. But outside,
you just told me your story. You just told me your story from
But
Literature Road to now,
cutting.
and
Okay,
I
so
got
you're
the
right.
picture.
So you're right.
You had a lot of hustle in you. You know what I'm saying? A lot of it. You know what I'm saying? It just maybe when you was young, it didn't have a specific direction, but you understood something early, right?
I got you.
Something I'm trying to get my son to understand. Like I'm just sum it up for him because I know if I talk to him too long, I'm gonna lose him.
Listen
You know
more
what
than
I'm
you
saying?
speak.
Yeah.
Listen more than you speak.
Listen more than you speak.
Yeah. Because you can talk. You cannot not say talk yourself out of a situation, but sometimes talking too much can keep the other person from telling you what they want to tell you. And we see that I don't have children yet, but you probably see that from your kids is the moment you try to tell them something, they try to talk while you instead of listening at the same time because they think they figured it out.
Nah, we done developed a relationship.
But no, I'm just saying.
I know what you were talking about.
The first time you do something, you tell them not to
nah.
do it. The first time they done did something they had never done before, you like, hey, don't do that. And they're like, well, how you know?
Yeah.
Just listen more before you talk back. If someone tells you, if they tell you to clean up your room, clean up your room.
Mm-hmm.
When you get our age, you're going to be cleaning up your room.
Mm-hmm.
So just listen more than you speak because of the value that you're going to get later in life.
Yeah.
And that's what I can say.
I would say work hard as you can. And do all the hard stuff while it's easy.
Yeah, that's a good one too. And work smart.
Yeah.
I think what we were taught growing up is to work really hard, but they didn't tell us to work really smart. I've learned some lessons from that.
Yeah.
I've learned recent lessons from that in general as far as that you can work very, very hard.
Yeah.
But if you don't work smart, all that hard work will go in vain.
We don't want to confuse the word work with going to your job.
Yeah.
Or getting a job. Like, you know what I'm saying? We don't want to confuse
Mm-hmm.
the word work with that. We just when you hear the word work, I'm speaking to a young kid. When you hear the word work, that's anything. That's reading. That's
Writing.
Yes, that's practicing.
Cursive writing has been taken away.
Yeah.
For an example, I challenge our generation because our generation is the ones that got these 8 to 9-year-olds.
Yeah.
is to see if they're taking the cursive.
Mm-hmm.
Do you not know what it'll be for them if they know how to do cursive writing and nobody else really does their age?
Yeah. I mean,
It's like a secret code. You just write something you don't want to. How you want to start a business, and they want you write it in write all your plans in
I ain't
cursive.
even gonna lie. I haven't even signed my signature on a piece of paper, other than something that's sent home from school. When you get an order, even when I do my taxes, all of that is digital signing, like a tablet or something. I haven't signed a piece of paper in so long. So somebody asked, if the children aren't learning cursive, how they gonna learn to do a signature? And I'm saying, I don't even remember having to write a signature on a paper no more.
Yep.
So
It's easier for fraudulent activity to take place if you ain't got a signature. So if you're going to have your kid, I mean, you can't stop it. For one thing, you can't stop anything from happening. If it's going to happen, it's happening. But you can minimize the risk.
Mm-hmm.
So by minimizing you stepping outside of the box by learning this other thing, just like you, whatever skill you have, if I got this edge, that is a better chance that I'm going to win.
Mm-hmm.
I got this edge. It's a better chance that this won't happen to me, or
Yeah.
I'll be able to get this role or do this because I took the extra time to do it.
It's not required to write in cursive, but I know how.
I know how to.
Yeah, right.
Because that's what happened to us.
Yeah.
It's not required anymore.
Yeah.
But if we want to be slick, we write in cursive.
Yeah.
We write in cursive right now and don't want a kid to know we are good. They won't know
right.
that. It's
You
like
right.
a foreign language to them.
All right. This is a part of the show that's kind of fun to me. I like to pull up pictures.
Excuse my language. There's kids watching this. I apologize.
Here's the thing. I came up with this idea because it's this old cliche thing that parents and old people used to tell you back in the day. If you can't say anything nice about somebody, don't say nothing at all, right?
Yep.
So I got slick. Probably when I was about 16, I was like, all right, I'm tired of hearing that. So I said, from now on, I know when I want to say something goofy or bad about somebody, I'm going to say something good about them first. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, you know what? When I start this podcast, I'm going to have a little moment of the show where I'm going to just get these obscene pictures, and we just got to figure out how to say something nice about her.
Okay, what about her?
I haven't had her on here as a guest, but I've had her. Lorena Bobbitt is famous for cutting off her husband's penis.
Oh. So it's 2 compliments and shoot her down. You know? I mean, I do like wearing black clothes, you know. And then anybody that wears black.
Yeah, because it was years ago. She looked a lot younger. This is her currently.
And then, you know, got nice. She's smiling, so she's giving out positive energy right now.
Yeah.
The cover up. But you never put your hands on a man's private part. That's niggas.
That's how she got famous.
Not with tools. If you're not a doctor, you ain't supposed to be touching no man's stuff like that, like the way she did.
For her, it was a power movement for women.
Oh yeah.
You know, I guess just to let us know if we reckless with it, and in a given moment, it could be cut off.
Oh, right. I see that movement it doesn't happen as often. So I guess the time that's associated with
she
that.
definitely made every male in the world aware of a woman around his private area with sharp objects.
There was somebody else I thought that they do have on. They come up on memes sometimes. It was this other girl, not her. She was the first, but there's another one that comes up with a mug shot that they talk about on the internet sometimes.
I doubt she's the first.
She was more popular.
She was the first to go viral on the news. You know, it was a thing. Everybody was talking about it.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
Good old Lorena.
I just don't want to. I don't even still want to
Yeah,
see her.
I think they tried to sell that thing on eBay once or twice.
Oh, it probably wouldn't have made money. You know, they got these stores that they got all this tent around them now.
You know what's crazy?
that people
Is
go,
that no one knows the dude who she cut. No one even remembers who this guy is.
So how they know if it's real?
I'm just saying, like, the story took off with her. Nobody consulted with the guy.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. So now I got to question it because I've always been taught, don't believe everything you see and what you hear. It's always like something behind the scenes to it. So,
I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, apparently she did it. There was pictures of it.
Yeah, I didn't see.
I have to go back and pull it up. It's vague.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
And she's smiling like she got a Grammy.
yeah, but
Shoot, I think everybody but me got a PPP loan.
I didn't get one.
I mean, so he did put money into the economy for people. I can't
Did
say
he?
that. Now, it wasn't his money, but his thought process helped people take away from the misery that was actually going on at the moment. Because we was in a whole supposedly pandemic, and people forgot about that. Do you not recognize
Nah,
that?
I remember because we was standing in the street protesting.
And I'm
We was
like,
mad with the police. We were kicking in windows and
Yeah.
we were terrifying the city, man. I honestly felt like if we didn't calm down, we was eventually gonna turn on each other.
that's exactly what I
You know what I'm
think he
saying?
thought. Now, he know we didn't like him, so he had to figure out. Now, I don't dislike anybody. It's decisions that people make. So I might not like the decision that he made, but I can't say I hate him because I don't know that man. I don't know him.
There was just one thing about him that I just like. He was very much authentically himself.
Yeah, that's
He
what's
didn't.
rare.
He didn't hide it. He didn't cut round the
He
corners.
just said what the heck
He
was on his
said
mind.
exactly who he was. I am this guy, you're gonna vote for me.
And this is all that matters right now.
And I just had nothing but I still ain't got nothing but respect for him. I don't want him to run
disrespect nobody to tell you what it is and do exactly what they say.
I don't want him to run my country no more than I want him to run a McDonald's I'm ordering a burger from. But
I don't know about that either. I'm with you on that.
But I can respect him because he is who he say he is. I
might
think the
go out of
only
jail
one lie
fast,
he
too.
ever told was that his hair.
No, I mean that might be a little bit of his hair. You know, his technology is real. So like they could take probably a little bit, you know, and
Good
I don't
old
know.
Trump.
They probably grew some more of his followers, but Trump, he's a good guy. He's a good guy to some people, and he's a bad guy to some people. But I respect him.
I mean, I think anybody that's the president has been the president is gonna either be loved or hated.
That's me and you in the same way. We're gonna be loved by people and hated by people,
Yep.
regardless of how famous you are or not.
Yeah. I had a lot of respect for him. I really did. I didn't feel like, oh my God, this is the worst country in the world because he's the president. I didn't like him as our leader, but ain't like I.
He's a businessman. He is definitely not a politician.
Yeah, I respect that. I respect.
And he told us that. He said, "I'm a businessman."
Dennis Rod.
He does what he want to do, when he want to do it, how he want to do it. Now, if there's no authenticity in that,
I can appreciate that he's got the lipstick to match the pink and the flamingo.
man,
And
I didn't even pay attention to that, but it's always been that hair. This man has always had. Remember when he played with the Bulls?
yeah,
How he had the final symbol, had all that done in his hair. Like I don't think I've ever seen nothing like that before. The top that.
no, they not doing that no more. I mean, at least the most they'll do now is just a bunch of tattoos and some braids. But the disco, like, especially not that.
Now that one's not as good as the one he had with that. Now he looked like he in Miami though, because that's like the typical Miami shirt that you gonna wear when you in South Beach. Or he in Vegas, so he might be in Vegas right now. You never know with Dennis.
I'm just trying to figure out, did we covered that, right?
What?
The nice. We took care of that.
Yeah, we took care of the lipstick and the
Okay,
ring.
because I'm definitely not feeling the nose rings.
I'm not feeling that
They
glasses.
got balls on them.
I don't like the glasses.
And then the lip ring got a ball on it. What is it with him with these balls?
I guess
And
he's
he
trying
got
to
a
draw
ball
up
on his
back
earring.
and I go through a metal detector.
Hey, that man knocked down some top shelf entertainers.
You know his daughter is a very phenomenal soccer player.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I wasn't even aware he even had kids. I wasn't aware Mike Tyson had kids till I seen this little meme the other
I
day.
didn't know that either.
Where he had offered somebody $10 million to marry. I thought that was cap. Anyway, moving
He
on.
sort of looked like that. You know, that might have been the whole thing about.
We sucked. We sucked at that.
Yeah, we did. But Dennis, I mean, and a good thing to say, he probably was one of the best rebounders we'll ever see in our lifetime.
Man, listening to you talk today, I'm definitely want to hear this next thing. Because it's definitely the name of this show. This particular segment is value versus worth. So if someone asks you what's the difference, well, how would you answer that? Now, I pulled something up on Google that kind of gives you a standard breakdown. All right, but that's Google's, whoever typed that up, interpretation, you know what I'm saying? What is your interpretation of the difference between value versus worth?
Well, if I'm looking at value is something that all this stuff right here is determining
your value.
Now, the worth comes in is like I told you. How am I going to make somebody know I'm worth that value? And that's where the humbleness takes over, and people don't know your worth.
Yeah.
Because you only know your value.
Yeah.
So if you're not telling people your value, when you tell them how much you're worth, they're going to look at you crazy. So that was some of the things that I've just now started to do for myself, is not tell people my value. Because people will see, oh, he's worth this or worth that. I may not be worth this for that certain area, and I'm going to tell you I'm not. But if you assume that you're not going to know that, and then you have to be realistic with your value too. Because if you're not realistic with your value, your worth is not going to be realistic.
Mm-hmm.
I think you had a guest on your show said I told him one time it's not what you spend, how much you spend is what you spend it on.
Mm-hmm.
An example of that, because I'm a person, I try to do everything that I say, is I buy stuff, but I don't buy expensive stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been frugal and cheap unless it's something that I have to repair at that moment.
Right.
The first vehicle that I've ever bought brand new was that pickup. It was a pickup truck. Right?
Yeah.
But the purpose of that was because it's worth a lot more because it's always achieving value.
Right.
You can work with it. You
Right.
can drive with it. You can do all these different things with it versus with the vehicle at the same price. The value of it is terrible. It's just worth a lot. It only can do limited
Right.
things, and it's only a value to the eye of others and not a value to myself.
Mm-hmm.
So you can spend as much money as you want, but you have to think of it, is it worth that? What worth am I getting? Not the worth that somebody said, hey, he spent $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 on something.
Yeah.
Do you know the value that it's going to give him?
Yeah.
Because obviously he knew the work.
Yeah.
And he might have didn't pay that.
Yeah. So when you hear somebody say, I don't like this person because all they want to do is use people.
Right.
Like, what do you say to that? Being used or using someone? What do you say to that? Like, what is your response to usage?
Everyone is using someone. We exchange. Employers use employees, but the exchange is a wage.
Mm-hmm.
Businesses use other businesses, and exchange is a contract. So you're always going to be being used. And the only way you can dislike being used is if you put your situations where it makes you feel that way. And for myself, I used to be upset when I would find out that I was used for a situation and not valued for my work.
Right.
However, you have to look back as I matured and said, if I would have done these things, I can't blame this other person. But however, if I would have done these things, then I would be fine. Mm-hmm. Then I would have known my decision there and I wouldn't have felt used because I was expecting something versus putting the expectations already in.
Right.
So advice I would say to people is regardless of what you're doing, always have your documentation.
Mm-hmm.
Always, if you don't know how to do documentation, it's better to pay someone to do it than the loss that you could incur from not doing it.
Right. So would you say someone that you cannot use doesn't have any value?
So a person always has value in my opinion. They may not have the value that you need at that time because either you're not worth that yet or they're not worth that yet. But you can't say somebody can't be useful at something. We all were here to be put to use for something. Mm-hmm. So if you go to somebody, if somebody came to you, like for example, I utilize your sister for my, I came to you for this.
It would be no good.
You're useless for that. So
Yeah.
I can't be like upset about making this.
Yeah.
Yes, you're in the area, but I can't be upset about that because I put that expectation on myself, and you're gonna tell me I don't do that.
Right. What I like to tell people to that is, because sometimes people like to accuse other people of using me, right? And they be like, you foolish, Chris, because you just letting them use you. But my response to that is, if I'm not useful, then I'm useless.
There you go.
My usage rating is high, which makes my value high, which makes my worth long lasting. You see what I'm saying? So use me, right? Because I'm definitely using you. You know what I'm saying?
We're all getting something from it.
Right. So I tell my kids, if you're not useful, you're useless, which makes your value low. Get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's what I would say to that.
And don't always see things as monetary.
Yeah.
Monetary is not the way to look at your value.
Right.
If it takes money for you to have value, you have no value.
value.
Because anybody can give you some money and make you feel like you're rich.
Because that money can disappear.
It can disappear.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I want to learn finance. It's because I know we could all wake up one day and that money be worth zero. But the value of the experiences that we learned, that we mastered, that we failed at, That's where the value comes in place so that you can have opportunities for whatever you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you self-sufficient. Money makes you not. It only takes care of what you really need.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't give you no
It's
value.
a tool.
It's a
It's a
tool.
tool, right.
Cars are tools.
Yeah.
No matter.
Yeah.
Clothes are tools. Everything is a tool.
Mm-hmm.
And I fell victim to that, and probably other people don't want to speak about it, but we all fall victim to materials.
Mm-hmm.
It's good that we go through those things so we can learn lessons for it. Because the value isn't about this. For example, I'm wearing this shirt right now, and this is one of the companies I consult.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same cotton that high brands wear,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just the name is the difference.
Yeah.
And this shirt would cost $100 and something, and this shirt's $25. So it's like
Yeah.
the value is the person that's wearing it, because if the person that's wearing it can
Yeah.
explain the value of this, then that's where you're gonna get more value.
Mm-hmm. That's where endorsements come in at. Ching ching.
Yep.
Yeah, well, that was good. Let's loosen it up a little bit.
Alright.
You know, it seems like Milwaukee Bucks have shaken up the NBA. What you think about that?
Man, listen, the NBA been shaking up like it's like the whole country just been shook up since the bubble. Like this,
That's
like
true.
I don't. In my opinion, the league just has changed so much with not just how the Milwaukee Bucks was doing it, but just in general.
The contracts, short-term contracts.
Short-term contracts, the amount of the contracts.
But that's due to the revenue that they was fighting for in the lockout.
Yeah.
And it's just growing, you know what I'm saying?
So,
and it seems like the more they make, the more people are interested in watching them now. Like, oh my God, this dude's making $180 million.
it puts a lot of pressure on you.
Watching.
That puts a lot of pressure on you
Yeah.
too now when you're doing that. And like we was talking about that, sometimes that value versus worth.
Mm-hmm.
That's where people that get that money, that's where they have to really show it. Or am I really worth this? And that's a lot of pressure.
Does Damian Lillard has more value on Milwaukee than Drew Holiday? Because the whole
I can say,
you see what I'm saying?
I can't say yes. I'm gonna say I won't come from a guard experience. Going from one team to other. If I'm like Civic Center, it's like going from Civic Center to a team where everybody is good.
Yeah.
So at Civic Center, he had to shoot. He
Yeah.
had to do 30, 40.
Mm-hmm.
Drew Holiday, at the other hand, they only needed to do 12 to 18.
Mm-hmm.
He gets over there, he's so used to doing 30, 40 that now I'm going to have other people worried about their value.
Yeah.
So I don't know how, and that's what's been going on the last 3-4 years in my opinion. Yeah, we've had teams, but they didn't put that many stacked shooters on one team. You had one shooter, one dunker, one rebound.
Mm-hmm.
That's how teams usually be stacked in our
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
They weren't stacked with the two best shooters in the league,
Yeah.
or the two
Yeah.
best it wasn't like that
Yeah.
because it just doesn't seem like it would work right. So it's going to be interesting. If it does work, they're going to beat everybody ass. I can't say that.
It's interesting to me because the point guard position itself is probably the most dangerous position in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because they got the ball all the time and they generate most of what happened. And Drew Holiday was the kind of guard who stopped a lot of that.
Yep.
I'm not saying Dame is a piss poor defender, but he ain't no Drew. So you see what I'm saying? Like when it comes down to it, Milwaukee down the stretch need a stop.
It's not going to come from
I'm not 100% sure Dame has that.
That's where it comes from, the use. Remember we was talking about usage?
Yeah.
So now they're doing a trade-off. They're saying, okay, we'll trade off. We don't think he's useless when it comes to points. Not saying he's a useless talent.
Yeah.
But Dame can make up for the points he gives up on defense from his scoring.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of rationally that would make sense from that trade, because as a point guard myself, we control everything, little do you know, unless you're a combination. Because if you got two people up there, Trey used to bring the ball up when we played Griffin, because I'd be in a box and one. Because they knew if I knew everybody's position and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I determined if you're going to score 25 that night. I determined if you're going to get 11 or 12 or 6. I'm determining that just based off of the concept of how the game is working,
Right.
either for the good or for the bad.
Yeah.
And in the NBA right now, we see
Yeah.
they don't think that's all about.
They definitely an offensive powerhouse.
It's it's all
They're
offense.
definitely gonna run, outscore you.
135 a game.
They're definitely gonna outscore you. You know what I'm saying?
135 a game and give up 127.
Yeah. Yeah. You familiar with boxing?
I don't watch boxing as much as I used to. I stopped.
I don't either, but I kind of still know what's going on.
I know what's going on, but I'm not gonna sit here and be like only person when they fight I'll go with them is Tank.
So you saw the L coming for Charlo
No,
against Canelo.
No, I didn't watch that.
I'm saying, but did you know they was fighting?
Yeah, I knew they was fighting there.
So out of the two, who did you think was going to win?
Oh, Canelo.
Yeah. So I saw that too.
And that's just because of knowing how Canelo fights.
Right.
This other guy didn't show his value, so I was automatically going with the person that always shows the value because I know what he worth.
Well, I don't follow boxing like I used to, but I kind of keep up with it. So I kind of know Charlo. I know Canelo, and the only reason I know Canelo like I do is because he fell on my radar just by fighting Mayweather. See what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, he's going to fight Mayweather. I started watching him. And I actually thought that he was going to be a tough fight for Mayweather, which was seemingly one of Mayweather's easiest fights I've ever seen.
Every fight be easy for Mayweather.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that man get bruised?
No, I seen Madonna bounce him around.
I ain't bruised though. I've never seen him
I seen
like
him bouncing around in 1 too many rounds than I'm used to, which is probably why he fought him again the next time.
Make
just
sure
to
it
show
was-
him,
yeah.
I'm gonna shut you out on his card. Yeah.
Tank
But
is like, but Tank. That's why I said how we go with Mayweather.
Yeah.
The only boxer that I'm Garrett I go with is Tank.
I like Tank. But he doesn't give me that sure feeling that Mayweather gave me.
When
in
did you
his
get
age.
that sure feeling though? Was it the age or the wins of Mayweather?
I probably jumped on Mayweather super early, man. He wasn't even hot yet. Roy Jones was the hottest thing in boxing.
Yeah.
When I
That's
jumped
when
on
he made that.
Mayweather,
You must
know
have
what I'm
forgot
saying?
some.
Yeah, well, it was before then, when I was a Roy Jones fan. By the time Mr. Forgot, he headed into the heavyweight division.
Got
He
chopped
was
up.
like in his mid-30s at that point in
Got chopped
time.
up, yeah.
But I started following Mayweather because he reminded me of Roy Jones. I thought Roy Jones' style was probably one of the most weakest styles I'd ever seen, and I just felt like Mayweather was the closest to that. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I got on.
They
Mayweather.
got similar. You kind of I see where you can go with that because they both have that flash when they're in the ring. They both will taunt you in the ring.
Yeah, they got that jab that doesn't.
It's quick.
It's not telegram. It's just coming straight from here.
Quick, and it hurts.
Yeah, that's how I got on Mayweather. But yeah, man, I appreciate you coming by, man. This was amazing talk, man.
Man, it was good to have this talk with somebody. Like I don't think I told people, but you was the first person to cut my hair, right? Yeah, the first person I trusted outside of my cousin that when I first moved out here was you.
How old were you?
Man, shit, probably about 10. No, whatever grade it, nah, cause you used to joke with me.
Where was I?
You was like, you might have a damn beard. You was at Tony's. He was like, you went from that's what. So it started at Tony's. Me and Lil Tay used to come up there.
Yeah.
Used to drop us off.
Yeah.
We got the haircuts and stuff. And then even when I moved to Baltimore, you know that every time I came home,
Mm-hmm.
I would come to the shop. I had somebody with me, or you get your haircut.
So that would explain why you still be walking them Baltimore jerseys, and why you specifically pointed out.
Yeah. That's,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't put that together. Hey man, Baltimore crazy.
Man, Atlanta crazy. I feel safer when I'm in Baltimore when I go visit than I do when I'm in Atlanta.
Atlanta just got crazy. Baltimore been crazy.
Well, I can say this. I went up there in 2007. Well, I used to go up there in Maryland in general before that, but just staying there on an everyday basis. And it operates just like everything else to an extent where the extreme is high. So how when we got mad down here, we're going to beat your ass with our fists. They're going to beat your ass with something like this. And it go real fast and come out again. And that's every time.
Yeah.
So it's just the extreme level up there is different, but the attitudes is the same.
Yeah, well see my knowledge of Baltimore is just all movies and news.
It's good parts. It's good. I wouldn't like.
The same thing with Chicago.
That's different. I've been there. That's different. I've been there. You know how you go places and your awareness just tells you how you feel. Like, yeah. I was living in Baltimore when I got that awareness. Like, Chicago just feel a little bit not more dangerous, but I have to be a little bit more alert from the sneakiness.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not that. But Baltimore is a great city. I like a lot of people that helped me from Morgan State. They graduated. They were older guys there that kept me on the straight path, taught me a lot of skills that I have today. So I actually will recognize Baltimore as home for me because I tell people, home is where you grew up. Not necessarily like this, but where you became who you were supposed to be in this world. Mm-hmm. And I became who I was supposed to be in this world when I was living in Baltimore.
Yeah. Yeah, that's big. That's big, man. I appreciate you coming by, man. Talking to you, man. I'm gonna wrap this thing up, man.
This show is this is definitely what we needed something like this, man.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it's coming from somebody like you. Like you don't see yourself probably like this, but you are like
people been advocating for me to do it for years. I just finally went on and did it.
I mean, you're like a mayor and don't know it. You don't know that. Like,
I don't know. I hope.
Man, like we gotta go back to it. Everybody don't love or like a mayor. Or know anybody in some type of thing. It's about the effect that you have when you do something.
Right.
And you have people continuously want to see this. You've had continuously people going. So this is the best way where you get to know people. Mm-hmm. You get a mask when you're doing everything else.
Yeah.
Like, only thing I may have not told people was stuff that I forgot. Like I've had highs, I've had lows. Yeah. I'm not perfect. I've had great income, I've had no income trying to figure stuff out. Mm-hmm. Like nobody's perfect.
Right.
Like, but what happened was I learned from it, wrote down what I did. How did I get out of that situation? Somebody talking to me can use this. This is what you might not know it happened to me, but this is what you need to do to get out of this. I've been there.
Well, yeah, I'm definitely ready to do this one because we really talked about some really good stuff and talking about value versus worth because it's things I just want people to know. It's definitely something I'm trying to teach my children every day. That's part of the reason why I kind of started the podcast too. It's a small reason. It's like I feel like my kids and they mother, but they love people on social media, YouTube, whatever people on social media is saying is gospel to them. So I said, reach them through social media.
If they see you, they be like, okay, they put some value on with stuff that you was some work on with it. They put some work on it.
There you go.
But man, you do a phenomenal job, man. I see not only with your kids, man, but just kids in the community and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, because I understand they're the future.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know you're very talented in basketball. I used to be scared when you came out and said, like this joke, yeah, I'm like, no. So you've been passing it down the generations and not getting that recognition. I just want to give you that.
Oh yeah, no, I get it. They show me love around here. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to basketball,
I'm talking about people. That's the thing of being humble, man. I tell people about the people from Thomaston that are not from Thomaston. Right. I tell people everywhere I go, and the first thing I'm looking for when I'm trying to do business is a successful person from Thomaston. I'm not looking for anything else. And there's people in Thomaston that watch this about he always comes back and reach back and try to grab somebody else. So that's what it's all about, man. Yeah. So man,
appreciate it. Yeah. Scrimmage Lounge, Diamond Cuts. Hey man, stay out them roads.
Yeah.
Somebody run y'all over.
For real.